Hi guys, Monkey's.com here. Just had some chap take a photo of me at the set of lights. Don't know why. Probably just saw yellow car in the camera and I don't know. Not too bothered, to be honest. In this video, what I'm gonna have a little talk about is oh, I've gone and forgot now. Oh, that's good. I have gone and forgot. Oh, yes. No, I've just remembered. I'm going to have a little talk about making your own way in life. And basically just, instead of like sponging off your parents when number one, when things happen in your life, and the second thing, for money and things. I mean, yes, when you're a certain age, you kind of rely on your parents for things, but I mean, I'm 20 years old now, and I don't really expect anything from my parents apart from a roof over my head, because I just can't afford to get a place on my own. No one can afford to get the place on their own nowadays, really. But it's, I mean, there were plenty of people out there who, I mean, when I say sponge off your parents, I mean basically you're asking them constantly for money for things. So I mean, for like simple things, like if you've got a girlfriend or something, that should be coming out of your own pocket. I mean, yeah, not everyone will have a job, but I mean that doesn't mean that you've got like savings and things. I mean, people get money from somewhere. I mean, normally, I mean, with my family, my parents opened a bank account when I was really young and just sort of like put a small amount of money, and then I had a ducks. And then I had a small amount basically to get started and maybe spend on a few bits. I mean, I have got a job which basically pays for the fuel in my car on a weekly basis. Training, well, I'm in education to get a better job, more money. And then hopefully I can start saving up for a property. I mean, at the moment, all I'm really saving up for is in 6 months' time the insurance for my car. Or well, the insurance and the MOT and the tax, basically. So taking the insurance out of it, that's going to be about 200, 300 for the tax and the MOT, depending on if the car's got any major issues. Then, I mean, there's nothing on it now that really needs fixing. So, well, there are things that need fixing. It's just that they're not sort of important things. They were things that have the last MOT brought up. Yeah, no, my parents, in terms of my car, they did not pay for any part of me starting to drive. They didn't pay for any of the lessons. They didn't pay for half of the car or anything. They didn't pay for the insurance. Absolutely everything had to come out of my pocket. But I think it's kind of a learning experience, really. They didn't want... I mean, you don't really want to be sponging off your parents and getting money from them constantly all through your life, because when you get to the stage where you do have to pay out of your own nose, it's gonna hit you like a ton of bricks, basically. So, in a way, yes, I would have liked my parents to maybe pay a little bit towards my tuition or my car. But, I mean, I don't want to be tight or anything, but, I mean, they can be stingy sometimes. My dad isn't the best with money. I mean, yeah, he knows how to make savings and he knows how to spend it wisely on things, but he doesn't know. He's not very up to date, basically, with the whole internet scene. Pheasant. He doesn't really. If he normally comes to me and says he wants to buy something like for my birthday. No, not for my birthday. For Christmas, not this year. Well, not the one that's just been. The one before that. So Christmas 2012. I wanted a GPS thing for my bike, so I could track my rides. He found one online, which was I think it was about £100. But I took him to I think it was Amazon or something like that, and they had exactly the same one there, which was £80. So sort of, you're saving yourself money, really. So he doesn't really understand the principles behind that, and he's not very good at researching things. Pigeon, move! But, so yeah, anyway, he's not that bad with buying. He doesn't buy things a lot anyway, so. But yeah, in that sense, I kind of have got to help them to find the best deals and things. My parents to find the best deals, because they're not really to scratch with it all. It's not a bad thing. It's just that they tend to pay retail for something which, if you have a little look around, you can often find a lot less. Yeah, there's a lot of kids, well, maybe not kids, but there's a lot of people out there who are sort of like, they sponge off the parents. The parents basically buy everything for them. They might not necessarily ask for their parents to buy everything. But there's some parents out there who maybe have not got the money, but I mean, they like to treat their kids, and fair enough. By all means, you can do that. But I mean, for things as expensive as cars and stuff, maybe not. Maybe pay like half of it or something. But I mean, I guess it's each to their own. It's up to you really what you do for your kids. You can buy everything basically until they're ready to go and get a property, and then they're in the big wide world and they have no idea what to do. But in my opinion on that is, well, you need to try and get your kids to live on their own a bit, have a bit of independence, instead of just basically you looking after them. I mean, if I do have kids, when I do have kids, something which I'd like to do. Well, you see, that's the thing. I mean, I shouldn't really say this, but I've got a kind of sexist view on things. So if I had a girl, I'd probably spoil her, I'd probably buy her all kinds of things. But if I had a lad, wow, that guy nearly went right into the verge then. If I had a lad, I'd probably end up doing like sporting activities with him, going out and things. And I mean, I'd get him into cycling. That's one thing that I'd definitely do. Whether or not it's a girl or a boy, they would have to be relatively good at cycling, basically. Well, not relatively good. They can't really be good straight away, but I'd get them into cycling, basically. But yeah, I mean, I would like to have a kid at some stage in my life. I mean, it might not be right now. I mean, I'm not in a relationship with anyone at the moment, but hopefully something in terms of like the far future. Maybe there's the possibility of one anyway. I mean, it depends who I get with. I'm not particularly fussed. I mean, no way at the moment, if I got in a relationship now with someone, could I possibly be able to afford a kid? I mean, let alone get married or anything. Oh yeah, right. Where am I going on this little tripping, little escape then? Little day out. Oh, there's a big hole there. I started going up leaving Prestatyn and going up over the hill into Gwenesca. Then I went through Llanasa. Now I don't really know where I'm going, but well, we'll find out at the end of the road, I guess. But yeah, I mean, in terms of, say, actually, I mean, a lot of people ask me because I chose this car, I bought it with my money. A lot of people ask me, well, why did you buy a little yellow Fiat? The answer to that is that, well, there was a number of reasons, really. In all honesty, I wasn't really thinking about the fact that it was a yellow Fiat. I mean, it's not what I wanted to buy. I mean, I would have liked to have bought a little Polo or a little Toyota Yaris for my first car, but this just kind of popped its head up. I mean, I'd had a look on. I mean, I was trawling through eBay, Auto Trader, Gumtree. But you see, on all of them, I mean, the cars that I found, yeah, they were cheap and things. They might have had MOT and tax. That doesn't really necessarily mean that they're roadworthy or they're safe. I mean, it made it easier because I could do insurance checks online really quickly. So I mean, the things that came out cheapest were Vauxhall Corsas, things like that. I mean, Vauxhall Corsas were the cheapest, but my mum's had a Vauxhall Corsa, and I mean, I know what all the bloody problems with those can be. I know what some of them can be anyway. Oh yes, I do know where I am. We're in Carmel. This is near Baggle. This road will probably take us to Baggle. I'll try and cut down to the coast road in a minute anyway. But yeah, I'd had a look online, and I'd shown my dad a few cars that I was interested in, and he basically told me that he wasn't happy with me buying something online, which we're doing 40 there. Yeah, he was basically just. He wasn't very happy with me buying a car online because of, obviously, you don't know what you're getting. I mean, yeah, you might be able to go and give it a bit of a test drive, or well, maybe just have a look at it and actually go and see the car, but that doesn't really answer anything. I mean, you only really get to know the car. I mean, my dad, he bought a new car recently, and a few weeks after he bought it, he then started noticing all the little problems that it had. I mean, yes, the problems on his car weren't massive, but I mean, still, you could have come up with something really serious. I mean, the gearbox could have gone, the clutch could have gone. That's not something that you're necessarily gonna find out in just 5 minutes of giving it a little test drive. Yeah, if I carry on this road, I will get to Bagult, but I'm going to go left, which you can also get to Bagult. I'm not going to Bagult, though. I keep going on about it. This is Holywell anyway. I'm going to probably go through the centre of Holywell, through the little one-way system thing. Oh, look, the scouts are out. But yeah, I mean, my dad, he said that he would be much happier if he actually took me out and we went around and had a look at trade sales. However, we did that. We went around local car showrooms and show places and things, and none of them really. I mean, whenever we went to somewhere, we always said, have you got any trade vehicles which are under £1,000? That was my budget. Well, my budget was actually under 500, but I mean, if something's just a tiny bit under 1,000, you can kind of barter it a little bit and try and get it down with trade people. But it's one way, I don't know. Well, yeah, we were going around, and we went basically around every single place in 2 days. But basically, at the end of those 2 days, we hadn't found anything. We just couldn't find anything which was suitable. Nowhere was selling anything like that. This is a nice Subaru that I'm behind. So yeah, we had a little tour around, asking at places. Could not find anything at all. or well, we did find one or two things, but they were total rust buckets basically. They weren't right. So we were on our way home, and we didn't really know where we were going to go basically from there. But literally like 5 minutes away from our house, we passed this basically on the side of the road with a little price in the rear window with a number on them. So I said to my dad, that might be worth a look, because originally we were just gonna, I mean, if I hadn't said anything, we would have just sort of like passed that, and if I'd said, oh no, I don't want a yellow car, we wouldn't have got it or anything. But I said, no, let's go and have a little look. So we pulled over. My dad had a little look around it. He said, well, it's got no rust on it. It's all the tyres have got a decent amount of tread on them. We then gave the chap, well, I think it's his wife or his girlfriend or something. She actually owned it. But I think it was his number basically on the ad. So we gave him a ring, and he came down, started up the car. I asked him to turn all the lights and all the indicators on. Everything worked. Had a look under the bonnet. Everything looked fine. We then my dad, because his insurance covered him on other vehicles. Basically, he's got third party insurance on other cars. He took it for a little test drive, and he tested the brakes, the steering. He basically gave it a little run about to make sure there wasn't any odd feelings, odd noises, because he knows a fair bit about them, because he's always had second-hand cars, so he knew, oh god, this car's sticking out loads of fumes and stuff. Yeah, my dad gave it a little test, and my dad was totally fine with it. My dad was happy with the car. He said it's all right, it's fine, nothing majorly wrong with it that he could pick up anyway. We then, I just said, well, can I go home and check the insurance just to make sure I can actually afford to run it? So the chap said, yeah, fine, that's fine. Just give us a ring when you've made your decision, basically, whether or not you want it or not. So basically, I just went home, got the insurance, got the the comparison site that I normally use, got that up, put the number plate in, put all my details in, did the check, then a list came up. I think the cheapest one was 1100, and that was with a black box in your car. Now, if you're not familiar with these black boxes, it's basically a little device that fits in your vehicle. It's sort of like in the footwell, passenger footwell at the front. There's police here or something. And it basically records pretty much everything about your driving. It records you. They've pulled someone over, probably speeding. They're gonna go and have a nosy. Oh no, they haven't pulled someone over. That white vehicle is actually a police car as well. Well, these two. No idea what's going on here. Oh wow. Got the police with the big guns there. God, whatever's going on must be pretty serious. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, that it basically records your acceleration, the G-forces in the vehicle, how much braking you're doing, how much, if you're vicious with the steering, if you're going over the speed limit constantly. It records all this stuff, and then you can actually have a look at it yourself online using a bit of software. You can go online and just sort of, you can find out your own driving, and then your insurance will fluctuate basically. So if you're always aggressive, driving all over the place, flooring it, taking corners too fast, your insurance will go up. Well, if you're sort of like smooth driving, your insurance will go down. But a lot of people my age anyway, yeah, I mean my personal opinion is that yes, it would be good to have that permanently in every car, but given the option, I wouldn't, because there are going to be those times where you're not going to drive absolutely perfect. I mean, I'm not going to pussyfoot about it. Yeah, I have gone over the speed limit one or two times. I might have taken a corner a bit faster than is safe, but I mean, I don't take risks that will affect people's lives. I mean, that's basically where the mistake that a lot of people who I see when I'm cycling and who make mistakes and things and errors. I mean, yeah, alright, fair enough. People do make mistakes, but this black box won't know if you've made a mistake or not. So if you brake hard all of a sudden, it's going to instantly think that you've had a near miss with something. However, you could have just sort of like misjudged a corner, or maybe an animal has gone out in the road in front of you. It doesn't necessarily mean you're an unsafe driver, but I mean, this black box, it'll hammer you down basically. I mean, you'll constantly be thinking about it and be paranoid, and I mean, it probably does more bad than good if it's making you think that way about it. But yeah, anyway, the insurance was $1,100 with a black box, but it was $1,200 without. So I decided to go with the $1,200. So what I first did was ring them up to make sure that the car was still there. I mean, it had been literally a quarter of an hour for me to get home, make this check and make a decision. So I asked my dad what he thought about it, and he said, yeah, if you're happy to buy the car, and if you're happy to run it, then I mean, it's my money, so it's really up to me. I mean, I didn't have to ask my dad for advice, but because he's more experienced in cars and things and purchases, I asked him, because I mean, it's much nicer to have someone's opinion so you don't make a major mistake. I mean, the fact that he actually drove it and everything on it appeared sound was really good. When he was talking to my mum about the car, because what I did was I rang the person up. I asked if they still had the car. They said, yeah, we haven't sold it. No one else has come for it. And then I basically said, yeah, I'm fine. What's slowest you can go? They took a bit of money off the price. So I just said, yeah, I'm fine with that. So basically I just bought it like that. Then I insured myself, so I could drive it home, because my dad can't. I mean, technically, me and my dad could have walked there, and then my dad could have driven it back. But I mean, because it was my car, I decided, well, if I'm going to buy it, I may as well just buy it. I mean, I had the money for everything, so I basically bought the insurance after I confirmed that I was going to come over and pick up the car. I went over, gave them the money, did all the V5 stuff, drove it home, and then basically I had a car. Like I say earlier, it wasn't going through my mind that it was a little yellow Seagull. I mean, yeah, maybe looking back at things, if I had been a bit wiser, I might not have got it, because this is a very noticeable car. I mean, yeah, a lot of people really like it, and they probably would have said, well, it would have been different if I'd bought a standard car that everyone drives around. But it's, I mean, another good point is that you want your first car to be memorable, don't you? I mean, you don't really want to be driving around in a black Corsa or a black Polo. That's just standard, basically. It's like every other car out there. I mean, there is a certain rarity that comes with one of these cars. I mean, okay, there might be quite a few Fiat Seicentos around, but there's not a lot of Fiat Seicento Sportings in white, in yellow. It's got to be memorable, your first car. I mean, my dad remembers his first car because, I mean, he basically loved it. He enjoyed it so much. But his first car it didn't stick out. So yeah, I mean, and I think another reason I bought this was that I kind of got a bit bored of looking around and things and stuff, and I was just fed up, really. But I mean, this basically, it ticked all the boxes in terms of the price and the condition of it. It was really good. I mean, even my dad was bigging up the car to my mum when I brought it home, because my mum was like, why have you gone and bought a yellow car? And my dad was, well, it's got no rust on it at all, absolutely nothing. I mean, there's a little bit of bubbling on the bonnet at the front, but that's absolutely normal, and that isn't rust. So yeah, I mean, this car it's lasted me well, really. I mean, I've had it for about 5 months now. I think 5 months, probably 5 or 6. So it's probably halfway through its life with me. I mean, I'm in two minds whether or not to buy a new one in a year's time, but I think if there's nothing wrong with this, and basically I've got the money for it, I'm just going to keep this, and then maybe do a few little extras to it and stuff, like it doesn't. There were things on it which it doesn't necessarily need, but it kind of, I would feel better if they had it, basically. So I mean, it needs the brakes balancing, because it's a little bit, if you're braking on a corner, the back end will tend to stick out. It can be a bit sketchy at times. I mean, that's not if you're emergency braking, but that's if you're heavy braking. So you've got to, I mean, I've got to be careful really about under braking. I mean, I tend to lock up quite a lot, but that's only because the car's not got ABS, and if it did, then when I was braking hard, it wouldn't do that. I'd like to get a new car in a year's time. I mean, the only reason that I will, probably the most likely reason that I'll get a new car is because, I mean, hopefully I'll have a full-time job then, and then I'll need probably a diesel or something to be able to do the miles, because this car doesn't. I mean, it struggles really to do the miles. I mean, it probably is my driving. This can probably do about 350 miles on a full tank if I'm very careful with my driving, but in any normal situation it does about, I don't know, 300. I mean, it does keep up quite a decent mileage, basically. I think I worked out the MPG to be, I think it was, what was it? I think it was 45 or something like that. Some sheep down there. So I'm thinking of getting another car, but I mean, it just depends what my finances are like. I mean, I've got the money now, really, to be able to afford to insure it for another year and tax it and stuff. But I mean, half a year is quite a long time, really. So all kinds of things could happen during that time. But yeah, this video was this vlog's been about basically earning your own way in life, things like that. So not getting money off your parents, and basically earning your own living, basically. So yeah, I mean, I'm heading towards Rill now. I've just gone through Prestatyn again. I'm only heading back into Rill because, well, I'm still talking and it's somewhere to go. Stuck behind this bloody slow person. I mean, yes, there's a cyclist. I'm not saying the person's slow because of the cyclist, but the cyclist's doing a fair speed around here anyway. And this beamer in front of me is going slow on his own. But that's pretty much it. I'm going to end the video here now in the sunset. It's been a while since. I mean, I've got 2 other vlogs coming out before this, which hopefully I'm going to start editing tonight. It's, what day is it today? It's Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah, because it was bank holiday yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, so it's Tuesday evening. I probably won't be able to edit this in time, really. I mean, I want the videos to come out in order. So I'll probably be able to get this one out tomorrow, or maybe Thursday at the latest. This van's been very patient behind this cyclist. Not pressuring him at all. The van's turning, that's why. He's being patient. There's a woman driving that BMW, that's why it was so bloody slow. So yeah, this has been Monkeys Nuts Com. The next topic I'm going to be talking about is just remembered, in the last vlog I said that I was going to talk about some things which I haven't talked about. So I mean, I might as well. I mean, I've got 2 vlogs really that I want to be doing. I've got one which is it's about tattoos and piercings, and my opinions on them. And I've got another one about motorbikes, motorcycling, and things like that. And basically all the bits that come with motorcycling, really. But I'll do that later on in the week, or maybe next week or something. I don't know. Oh, I'm tired. So I'm going to say goodbye now, and I'll catch you guys later.